Hi everybody, I'm Sue Cooper and you are
Gill Harbach. Caught off guard.
Yeah. Who am I?
Who am I?
That is one of the soul questions. Maybe we should be asking that.
Well, last time I looked and thought about it, I was Gill Harbach.
You are indeed. We're in the monastery, the Monastery of St. Francis of Assisi in the east of Manchester. And the MOMM at the monastery is a self-care Sunday where we care for ourselves, having enough overflow to care for others as we care for the place that we reside and automatically cascade into more healing and more love in the planet. So it's all good. Today our theme has been the spirit of being, and that has been dual focused. It's about being present in the moment, which is the essence of mindfulness, and looking at the consciousness of the honeybee. And the honeybee is the emblem of Manchester, and the Industrial Revolution happened in Manchester a few hundred years ago, and we've spent a lot of time reflecting, talking, and being part of the process of how each of us can regenerate more love and look at the environment through the eyes of human nature at this time. So without further ado, shall we enter into the spirit of being? And how I'd like to start this today is to become aware of the breath. You don't need to close your eyes at this stage. But I'd like to enter into the bee breath. And we know from the scientists that the honeybee buzzes in the key of C, which is the same key as the root chakra, the base chakra. And also there's high C, because we've got 7 chakras which follow the octave, and high C is above. So I would like you in your own space, being present here. We can do this out loud. You at home will be within your own space as you're on mute at the moment. And just notice the resonance when you hum the lower key. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to exhale and then breathe in, take a long, slow breath in, fill the belly, and hum. Make it a low, deep hum. Should we do that again? So take a long breath in, a conscious breath, and then a low, deep hum. Feel that resonance. And then breathe in, and we're going to do a high hum. So we go really high, up here. Breathe in, see if you can do it. Should we do that again? Notice the difference. And then, if you should like to be playful, you've got the cartilage on this side of your ear here. Choose which hum you're going to do, a lower hum or a higher hum. And then press that cartilage and feel the resonance within the body. So do it in your own space. So breathe in, occlude the ear through that cartilage, and then hum out. And again, try another one. Do you want to stay with the same, or do you want to go higher or lower? Just try, just be playful and feel that vibration. And then on the last breath now, I'm going to invite you to do the lower one, the root chakra, really grounding ourselves. So breathing in and then humming out. And then with a smile on our lips, let's close our eyes. We have a therapy dog here who's really not quite sure what's going on.
He thinks there's lots of bees in the room.
Looking around. Yeah, we've got a fly as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so just notice your breath now. I invite you to close your eyes. And we'll start to move into a guided meditation. I'll lead you into a place, into the outskirts of a garden. Jill will take you into a garden, into the intelligence of the garden, and then we'll come back very grounded. And this should last about 20-25 minutes. So this is your self-care practice. Enjoy every moment of it. So with your eyes closed, I invite you to feel your feet on the ground. And bring yourself into a place of feeling centered. Back to comfort is key. Finding that place of comfort for these 20-25 minutes that we're going to enjoy together. And as you find that alignment, I invite you to take the chin down just a little so there's a stretch in the back of the neck. Only a gentle stretch, just so you're aware of the spine entering into the base of the skull here, and that's free. And then, as if you've got a little thread on the top of your head, take the thread up just a little so that you feel more spaciousness between the spinal discs. And breathe into the spine. Maybe reaching up just another millimeter. Letting the air fill those beautiful spinal discs. And then settling down, releasing that thread on the top of your head. And settling down into this natural shape of your beautiful spine. Sitting on the sit bones rather than on the base of the spine. Maybe move forward just a little. And then breathe into the base of the spine. Take the breath down to the base so you feel the belly expand. Only doing this if you feel comfortable to do so. We notice what makes us feel comfortable. If we want to challenge ourselves a little, as long as you feel okay with that, take a couple more long, slow breaths in and slower breath out. Fully exhale on the out breath. This brings into play the relaxation response as the nervous system settles. And then bring your attention now to the heart space, the space in the center of the chest. And feel the chest rise on the in-breath and fall on the out-breath. Ideally, we're breathing in and out through our nose as well. Settling into being present with this focus on the breath. If you find your mind wanders, that's fine. When you notice the mind has wandered, bring it back to the focus of attention, which is the breath in the heart space, feeling the lungs expand on the in-breath and fall on the out-breath. Be present. The present moment is right here, right now. We are being individually attentive to our own needs, aware of the community of others here in the monastery and throughout the world. So through guided imagery, I'd like you to take yourself to a place that you absolutely love to be in. Ideally, in nature, in a garden. And before we enter this garden, there is a white picket fence in the distance. And you see the outline of the white picket fence. You feel your bare feet on the earth. And you slowly adjust your eyes so the picket fence becomes clearer and crisper in your mind's eye. And you slowly and mindfully start to feel your feet walking Mother Earth towards this white picket fence. Slowly, one step in front of the other. Feeling the springiness of Mother Earth under your feet, between your toes. The dampness of the grass underfoot, holding you as you slowly walk towards the picket fence.
The picket fence is now closer. It's in front of you. And you notice it's enclosing the garden. On the other side of the picket fence, it's this beautiful garden. And there's a gate in the fence. White picket fence, the gate in the midst of the fence. You lift the catch. It clicks as you lift it up. You open the gate and you move through into the garden. You can feel the ground underneath your feet as you move through, and you can hear the sound of the gate as it opens. And the spring, which is on the hinge of the gate, makes a noise as you open it. And you turn behind yourself and shut the gate behind you. Again, there's the click of the latch as the gate shuts. Now you can take in exactly what's ahead of you. Standing in this beautiful garden, you can feel the ground under your feet. Maybe you don't have any shoes on, or maybe you do. Choice is yours. The air is warm, you can feel it against your skin. And the sun is out. Again, you can feel this against your skin. You can feel the warmth against your skin. Now you can hear sounds. There's a hum in the air. There's bird song in the background. And you're just surveying, looking around the garden from the entrance with the gate behind you. There's a fragrance in the air as well. And the fragrance just allows you a hint of a taste in your mouth as well. Sweet taste. And you realize there's a path in front of you leading through the garden. This garden may be one that you already know. It may be a garden which is in your imagination and is yet to be in form. But it's a safe place, this garden. It's somewhere where you want to be. And you'll visit again. So there's a path leading ahead of you. I'm going to start to walk the path. Around you are the colors of the garden. Pastel shades, pinks, whites, pale blues, lemons, lemon color, light pastel shades of the vegetation and the flowers around you. Beautiful greens, dark greens, light green, lime greens. Life is just bursting around you. You're walking along the path. And there's trees around you as well. Some tall, some small, shrubs and bushes. Can't quite see where the path is leading you. But you're moving ahead. You can feel the ground underneath your feet and the hum of the insects around you. And every now and then the intermittent call of a bird. And a robin appears on the path in front of you. Quick, shrill sound, song, then hops off into the bushes. And still the path is winding ahead of you, but you can't quite see where it's leading yet. The place feels comfortable and safe, but at the same time, it's mysterious because you don't know what's beyond the distance. So you're walking along. The sun is still out. It's a light warmth on your skin. And the fragrance of the flowers comes across every now and then in the breeze as it comes past your face. You can smell the earth beneath your feet as well. And you come round a bend, and in front of you is a clearing. It's been specially made, this clearing, because in it are some beehives. There's 3 white beehives. And you just stand with the beehives in the distance, enough that you can see what's happening. You can hear now the drone of the bees in the background, faint humming as they're coming and going on their daily missions, bringing the nectar, the pollen in, and then going back out again into the garden and beyond. And you stand there and watch these bees from a distance, going in and out of the hives, the 3 hives, which are white, clear white, wooden with little roofs on. Sun is shining. All is well with the world. Then you hear a rustle in the bushes close by, And you realize someone's coming through bushes and they nod at you as they walk past. And there's a faint recognition of this person. You don't quite know who they are. There is a memory of them. There's someone special. They feel special. They're walking towards the beehives. This is the beekeeper. He's come to check on his hives. And you stand there at the edge of the clearing, watching the activity ahead of you. And there's a calm and a peace in the garden, which is what the beekeeper has to be, calm and peaceful, to tend to his bees. And the bees recognize him, and there's a slight raise in the hum, the buzz, as they see him coming. There's an anticipation. And they're still going backwards and forwards, and the sun is shining. And the birds are singing. And the textures of the plants you're noticing around you, and the colors, the greens, the lemons, the lavenders, the pinks, the whites, and the blues. And the bees are buzzing around. They're buzzing into the plants as well, into the flowers, and then back into the beehives. And the beekeeper's just checking on his hives. He's not going to do anything today apart from just check that everything is fine. And the bees know him, and he knows the bees. There is a peace and a calm about the whole scene. And then the beekeeper turns around and looks at you. And then you recognize the beekeeper. Someone deep, deep inside you, someone who is special to you. Maybe a person who's actually been in this life, or it may be a person that you feel attached to from history, or maybe it's a person who is from spirit. It's someone you know, someone you trust, and someone you feel safe with. And you know that this person will treat the bees with love, care, and compassion. Just as the bees treat each other, they all work together in love, compassion. He smiles at you, the beekeeper. He recognizes you. And as he recognizes you, he says, I have a message for you. I was thinking about you the other day, and this is my message for you. And the beekeeper then gives you your message. It's a message that you've been waiting to hear for a while. You weren't sure when it was going to come, when you were going to hear it. It's an answer to a question you've had for a while. And he's given you the answer. He smiles at you. He realizes the importance of this moment. He's given you something special, something you wanted to know. There's a recognition, the job well done, that he wanted to help you. Because there's care and love and compassion in this beekeeper. Turns round. He just finishes off now, just tending the beehives. He's just adjusting the roofs, making sure the bees are all safe within their hives. All 3 hives are now safe. and he feels content. He can leave the hives now. He turns around and looks at you and smiles. He knows that you've exchanged something special as well, the message he's given you. And he gives you a wave and starts to walk out of the clearing. And you watch him disappear out of the clearing, back into the garden, back out of your sight. You can hear his footsteps as he's leaving, disappearing into the distance. And then you realize you're back by yourself on the edge of the clearing. The bees are still humming and the birds are singing. And the fragrance is there in the air. And you realize it's time to leave the garden. So you turn around, and there's the path ahead of you. Feel your feet on the floor. You can feel the ground underneath you as you start to gradually walk back down the path. Initially, you can't see ahead. You're just having to follow the winding path between the flowers of the white, the lemon, the lavender, the pink of the flowers around you. And every now and then there's a smell, fragrance again that comes across. Maybe it's as you brush against some flowers as you walk past. And you can feel the sun starting to go down a bit now. There's less strength in it. As you're walking along the path, go round a bend, and there's the picket fence in the distance and the gate. So you now know your way out of the garden. So very slowly, mindfully, you're walking along the path, just looking at the last vestiges of the garden that's been special to you. No, you can always come back to this garden. You just need to find the picket fence. And the birds are still singing. And the hum of the insects is quieter now as you've moved away from where the beehives were. And there's the picket fence in front of you and the gate again. So you put your hand onto the catch, lift it up, open the gate, and as you do so, you hear it move, the hinge. There's a noise. And you move through, you can feel your feet on the floor. Move through the gate. And then pull the gate to behind you. Again, the latch makes a click as the gate shuts behind you. Now you're standing on a path with the picket fence behind you, ready to start the rest of your journey.
You start to walk away from the picket fence. Just ahead of you is a bench. And you walk towards the bench and you know it's time to just sit. So you sit on the bench facing the garden and the picket fence, far enough away to observe the sun going down and the colours changing in the garden as it starts to become quieter. So I invite you to sit on this bench and be for the next few minutes Be present to this moment, to what your senses is guiding you to observe, and rest and relax. I'll watch the time. For the next couple of minutes, be. And in your mind's eye, you remember the beekeeper, the connection of compassion. Generate the feeling of compassion within the heart. For yourself. Fill yourself with compassion. And then generate it out into the world, into the community. Feel it extend beyond you. Expand from the heart center. And then bring it back into yourself. Generate the feeling of care. Care for yourself. This deep respect. Caring from the heart space. We generate it out beyond ourselves, into community and beyond, into the world. The feeling of care. Expand. And then bring it back into yourself. The beekeeper shared the essence of love with the bees and with you. Feel the feeling of love within. Feel it in every cell, lighting up the whole of the inner being that is you. And expand that out into the community and into the world. Lighting up the community in the world with light and love. Expand. Bring it back into yourself. and feel the feeling of care, compassion, and love within. Raise a smile to the lips. Simply be for another moment or two. Feel these energies pulsating within you. We let all that go. We savor the essence, the nectar, the elixir of these beautiful qualities that we hold within. And as we self-generate it, we generate it so that we have more to share. So we start now to know that we are to return back to our place, and we stand up from the bench. We give thanks to the picket fence, the gate, the garden, the beehives, the beekeeper for this experience. And then we turn and we slowly walk back, feeling the spring of Mother Earth grounding us under our feet. We slowly walk, one foot in front of the other, back to the place where we are right here, right now. Take a moment to feel yourself in the actual place you are, being here and now. Feel your feet on the ground and press into those feet. Wiggle the toes. Feel your back and legs supported by the chair. Maybe press back into the chair if you've got a back on your chair. This beautiful spine supported. Maybe take your attention all the way up to the top of the head and elongate the spine again. And take a nice long deep breath. Feeling it fill the chest and maybe even the belly. And breathing out slowly, fully exhaling. As we wiggle our fingers and our toes, keep the eyes closed for a minute, but become familiar with the space around you. Sense into the aura space around you. Maybe wiggle the fingers and maybe take the hands up in front of you. Be careful if there's someone close by and have a stretch. What feels good for you to do? Maybe move the shoulders a little. Keep the eyes closed. And I'd like to read you a few words by the prophet, Khalil Gibran. And this is just one paragraph from On Pleasure. And now you ask in your heart, how shall we distinguish that which is good in pleasure from that which is not good? Go to the fields and your gardens, and you shall learn that it is the pleasure of the bee to gather honey of the flower. But it is also the pleasure of the flower to yield its honey to the bee. For to the bee, a flower is a fountain of life, and to the flower, a bee is a messenger of love. And to both bee and flower, the giving and the receiving of pleasure is a need and an ecstasy. Giving and receiving is a need and an ecstasy. We all need the bees need the flower. We need each other as the bees need each other. So with gratitude in our hearts, maybe place the palms of the hands over the heart. Give thanks to yourself for this day, this hour of self-care. And to everybody who's been present here in the monastery, in Manchester, the home of the bee, and to all our beautiful friends from around the world who've joined us to share in this invocation of care, compassion, and love in this moment, expanding it out into the world and beyond. So let's open our eyes, raise your palms to the ceiling. Maybe join up, however feels good for you. And then taking your hands down to your heart space, maybe bowing with a thank you, gratitude and appreciation. Thank you. Is everybody here? I guess we are all here. We're all present. The sun is shining. No doubt the bees are busy out there, but thank you. Hopefully everybody in the world is fine too, but we offer a huge smile of gratitude and appreciation. And to everybody here who shared in a beautiful, busy and purposeful day. We will be posting the conversation that Jill and I had earlier on the mommworld.org website, probably tomorrow, and also this meditation. So, everybody. Am I here clapping? I'm hearing clapping.
It's bees' wings.
It's bees, yes.